Good evening, everybody. System Chalk here with the 15th episode of Cultist Simulator, the Librarian run, playing as Ivan Vucetich, and hopefully the audio, both the physical placement of the mic, my, audio levels, all of that should hopefully be sorted out here, so with any luck this will be a little bit better than the previous few episodes. Hopefully the last one was alright, but we have a couple of decisions ahead of us. Now, if I wanted to get really clever with it, one thing that I could try and do would be to let 7 seconds go by, have the Season of Suspicion pick up Victoria, Dr. Natalian Dragon, and if it takes longer than 30 seconds for the, what am I trying to say? If it takes longer than 30 seconds for the reputation to get picked up, really I should just let nature take its course. Now the thing is, I think it's less than 30 seconds. I don't know for sure. So the tricky part here is I know as long as there's notoriety for Natalia to pick up, it's going to, we're going to get hit by that. So what I'm going to do instead here, and this does unfortunately involve extending a negative thing longer than it has to, than I need to, I'm actually going to wind up arranging a meeting with an adversary. Actually, I need to... Sorry, I should have thought that through a little bit. It's not... Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to let the timer run by. Okay, so now we're going to talk with Dr. Dragon. Could have investigated Street Strange by Moonlight. That was my bad. And... okay, so perhaps we could parlay, or perhaps I could send something to ambush them. So I think this, won't demoralize them. So the original thing I was thinking of was adding the dread here. So something to think about every time you close your eyes. This might sway the hunter from their path, but it will always increase your own dread. So again, this is an idealist character, so this isn't exactly what I want to run with. And it occurred to me I don't actually have anything else. Like, the best I've got is a secret history. So I was originally thinking of doing something else, but I don't actually have the resources available to me right now. So that's fine. We'll work with what we've got. But really, this is kind of a holding pattern at this point. So the wrong kind of attention. The city is rife with journalists and detectives and other meddlers. How long will they leave me in peace? Okay, another peculiar rumor, why not? So, while I was returning to the depths, one appeared in front of my eyes, whose mouth was sealed. When I saw them in the great emptiness, I cried out. I think that last night I met another soul in the wood. I will never recall exactly what we said one to another, but I think that we will recognize each other in the waking world. Very quickly going to get rid of the dread. I could use reason to... Alright, the world as it is. Mirrors are calm, the sun is steady, the glory recedes. I'm saying if that means anything. No fascination drives your visions, it's over for now. And in this case here, the curious few, the wrong kind of reputation might awaken the interest of the curious, the puritanical, or the vengeful. So now we have more than one investigator after us, but it did stop us from having something picked up from Dr. Dragon. So there's that. I only get to pull that trick a few times, but works for me for now. And again, we're maximizing the notoriety we pick up at this point just because we're still filling out our ranks. Once we've got that, I have a few more options. Ah, this is good. There is always someone who doesn't understand or who understands too well. This troublemaker may seek evidence on my activities to share with the authorities. The weary detective. This gentleman would much rather be left alone with his pipe and his illustrated London news. But no, apparently some conjurer of abominations has to be hunted down like a mad dog, and apparently no one else can find the time. By the way, did you know that a Canadian wound up buying the illustrated London news? So we'll get a notoriety from this. This was rash. Perhaps I shouldn't have exposed myself so. Yes, your notoriety increases when you expose yourself to Dr. Natalia Dragon. Alright, Season of Ambition. So likely this is going to be something that Rhaenyra does, which means I probably want to be going to St. Agnes Hospital as soon as possible. So let's take Leo. Yeah, we're gonna get Leo to clear out the rumors first, I think. Oh, nuts. I blew the opportunity with the subtle fracture. That's really bad. I can preserve it. Alright. This is a tough sacrifice, but I can actually preserve it by doing a painting. So I hate that I'm doing this, but I kind of have to because I don't want to blow it. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna paint. Well, that cut me off from the wood, so that wasn't the smartest thing I could have done, but oh well. We'll still be able to sort this out. Alright, an unpromising address, but a promising resident. So now we've got 2 notoriety to contend with. Because Rhaenyra might be messing with St. Agnes Hospital, we're going to start on the expedition right away. I would have liked to have a little bit more heart to work with, but we'll work with what we've got now. So they did good work here once. Certainly there were a few too many amputations, but then there are individuals one would prefer not to walk the city streets. Only echoes walk the hospital halls now, but malice lingers in the air. We must search meticulously room by room. Expeditions need at least 1 funds per obstacle. The followers will defeat obstacles, but if you run out of funds or followers, the expedition ends. So I'm hoping we can get Leo back in time. I'll skip the paints for now. Let her focus. All that I am is here. Okay, sickness is coming up, so let's get that healing. I've created something both distinctive and beautiful. It will very likely enhance my reputation. Okay, old unhappy far off things, I think. Yep. Clouds apart. My recent work has gone unnoticed. Nothing is sold. Perhaps the work is its own reward. I hope so. Alright, I gotta find a way to preserve this for another 6 seconds. Probably not happening. And we got a fascination to boot. Cool. Yeah, I don't see a way of making this work, to be completely honest. So let's clear the fascination. I am going to need to paint the old and happy far off things, but if I was a little more thoughtful, I might have been able to do something with the subtle fracture, but yeah, heart or lantern. Alright, optimism is the spice which saves, so we'll add Leo for now. Now I'm going to try something real quick. So I think it was Porter that had the wound. Yep, there we go. Promote a believer by invoking knock. My follower will kneel as a novice and rise as an initiate. I will administer the necessary oaths myself. So not exactly how I wanted to use it, but at least I was able to preserve a little bit of the... at least I was able to preserve a little bit of the... what is it? A little of the influence. Alright, a half-glimpse wistfulness has touched me, and looks like the... Well, we're getting... It's notoriety all over the place now. A scheme to murder a hunter is afoot. A rival intends to end a hunter. This may be to my advantage, but it may also draw attention. I think we're just going to paint the restlessness away next time. Leo's going to be tied up for a bit, so we carry enough heart aspect to quell this curse, probably. The curse shrivels. Our power is stronger than the power that was here. The curse won't touch us. Alright, I've neglected my studies, but I stand a little straighter. Now I'm curious if I were to combine... Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Alright, not needed progress, but progress nonetheless. Let's go paint again. And I'm going to use my notoriety in this case. It may not be advisable, but I might as well get something for... I might as well get something for clearing out the restlessness. I'm not sure why I tried... I'm just delaying the time that I heal, but that's fine. So I'm curious who they try to take out. If they try to take out Dr. Dragon, that's not the worst that could happen. Alright, to she who was flesh I offer my wounds. To she who was stone I offer this moment. To my old, where my old self divides from my new. To she who came from light I offer my secrets. The door is opened. Porter goes unnoticed until he's ready. Sorry, I didn't read the text before, but that is our second disciple. So we need to wait for the treasures to go by before we can get much else. So we'll use an occult scrap just to get another person into the cult. Now again, that muddies the waters because we'll have a mystique. Oh, this notoriety is going to come back to bite me. Nope, Natalia Dragon is currently occupied, so the weary detective might find notoriety, but they're going to find notoriety that they may not necessarily generate any evidence out of it. All conviction, the world goes away. So yeah, I've got some ideas here. Again, evidence may be a thing that happens, but I've got a way through it. All right, this illness has damaged my health. I will need to rest before I'm fully recovered. So if we get evidence from the weary detective, we'll send Porter to clear it out. Another old unhappy far off things, of course. My recent work is considered notable. I've exhibited the latest paintings publicly. Surely someone will buy something. Okay. Well, that's a lot of mystique, so... I do need to go to work, so let's take our reason and the tentative evidence. I don't think we're going to be able to outlast the notoriety, but we can do what we can. Let's go to the well. The well in the wood is never dry, but it is never clear. One night it might heave with crawling roots. On another, it will pulse with bright moss. On nights of the full moon, its waters are choked with the fat-dappled bodies of moths. Last night I saw it brimming with dark and viscous blood. Gelatinous shreds drifted on its surface. Clots of grail matter. Okay. So if we have evidence against us, I need to destroy it using Porter. If we don't have evidence, then we send Leo to clear out the notoriety, because we will potentially have 3 we need to deal with. Alright, what was this place? The door bore no sign. There were no windows. The walls were painted a rich violet, rich even now after the ravages of rain through the leaking ceiling. A rotting chair has leather straps on the arms. The floor is porcelain and runneled. There's a padlock cupboard in the wall. It does not long resist our strength. It contains instruments tipped with flint and glass, instruments one would not expect a surgeon to use. It contains other matters of more interest to us, too. So we put the empty hospital up there. Now, we've got Locksmith's Dream trespasses, so for some reason I put this with the Orchid Transfiguration. So the third volume of Teresa Gallmer's examination of the parallels in the mystic dreams of artisans. So now we have the full set. We've got stained gloves. What uses have these known? What lessons might they teach my hands? Rose pearl dust. Pearls are sacred to the witch and sister, especially those of this color. They have been used in protective rites, among others. The Rose of Hypatia, marked with the tripled sign of the arcane contemplative order known as the Sisterhood of the Knot in Greek. Now, we should have one of the other rose works. Perhaps I was mistaken about that. Queens of the Rivers, Wrapped in the King, Kittling Ripe, Skeleton Songs, Apollo Marsyas, Deducted into the Histories, On the White, War of the Roads, Traveling at Night, Victory of Crowns, Humors of a Gentleman, Viennese Conundra, Orchid Transfigurations, Burning of the Unburnt God, Locksmith's Dream, 1-4, 6 Letters on Necessity, What is Contained by Silver, Deoris, De Bellis Murorum, True and Complete Accounting of the Asclepian Mysteries of the Roots of the House, Wainscott Histories, Treaty on the Underplaces, Bancroft Diaries. Okay, so first of the series. So I'm going to wait a little while just to see how this turns out. I found someone who may be a kindred spirit, but I will need to win them over. We will definitely have the passion by the end of this. Okay, so we have a restlessness to deal with. That won't be a problem. Okay, so they picked up the notoriety. And we no longer have Natalia Dragon. This may give me some breathing space, but it may ultimately bring the Suppression Bureau to my door. So we don't have anything we can really do with the human corpse right now. The spirit has departed. At some point, the smell will be so bad I'll have to dispose of it, but here it is for now. It may attract attention. It may be used to impress the impressionable. Even after the corpse is gone, notoriety will remain. Okay, and we have night terrors. So the painting will help here. But, to be honest, getting rid of Natalia Dragon is not the worst thing that can happen to us. So, let's paint. The sick room grows close and stale, time to get up, and we are able to go to the wood right away. Now I pass between scarbark trees, the moon passes behind branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I'm stumbling over roots now, it's tempting to drop to all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. And we'll avoid paying for the paints. We're again doing this to get rid of potential dread. And we've got Neville, come with me. Alright, so it's feeling very, very empty here, but we'll find out in about 20 seconds or so whether or not I need to worry about anything. Alright, considering the evidence. If a hunter has found notoriety, they will use it to try and create or upgrade evidence. If they're meticulous, they'll always succeed. If they're erratic, they're more likely to fail, but they can occasionally create evidence even without notoriety. Actually, let's get Leo working on this no matter what. can see the mistakes, but I can also see the end. This is work I can be proud of. With enough publicity, it will sell. Alright, so we got some contentment. We also got some money for that. Lots of mystique, which is not so good. There's our notoriety. And we might have had staleness at some point, but I never really bothered to check, so we'll just assume that we didn't have it. And for all that, there is evidence. I am certain that my adversary has lodged a copy of their notes elsewhere, with their solicitor, with their superior, or even with a contact in the press. This is troubling. So, I would have preferred not to have Leo doing this. I would have preferred to get Porter to destroy the evidence, but we'll work with what we've been given. I walked in the wood last night, and the scissors worked in the distance, and furred things crammed my mouth and swarmed my ears, and I felt the old urge to drop to wolf fours and nose among the roots. But I remembered that I walk upright by day, and I know fire and steel and words. And at last I found where the velvet had concealed a secret on tree bark beneath moss. I read it then with the tips of my fingers, and I think now that I could write it in full. Okay, so, I'm okay going back to the Mansus. I'm not going to check out any new locations, though. At least until we have the evidence dealt with. Although I can at least, let's get... Clove that to search the city. Yeah, useless. Okay, so at least I can try and get some of the knock. So what's about to happen is why we did not go investigate a new location. The wolf despair prowls elsewhere. No dread empowers this despair. It's over for now. Porter, I have a delicate matter for you. Whoops. Send a devious minion to destroy evidence. My scheme will most likely succeed. There is always a chance that something will go awry. I just read that. I don't mind repeating the text, but I got a couple other things that I want to get through, so we'll leave that one aside. I've well and truly too many occult scraps, but again, the study verb is pretty idle right now, so it doesn't hurt to have a few in the background just to be able to kick up. I will have other uses for the study verb, but for now, I prefer more occult scraps to less. Visions pass me with pavane grace, a window over wood, a garden of ice, a shivering sun, a woman of glass. I will return home with reluctance. I also realize that there's going to be a bunch of people who are really annoyed with me saying less, but... Okay, yeah, so... This is a justification of the choice not to get a location. It's a shame, because obviously it would be nice to do more of the expeditions, but I'll settle with what I got here. Ah, now this is a problem. Ooh, this is gonna get really exciting. I do have a contingency if the worst happens. So, while I was returning to the depths, one appeared in front of my eyes, whose mouth was sealed. When I saw them in the great emptiness, I cried out. I think that last night I met another soul in the wood. I will never recall exactly what we said one to another, but I think that we will recognize each other in the waking world. Alright, my minion has returned, the evidence has been destroyed, I am a little safer. Very happy to see that. Let's try and get more people to come into the cult. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention, perhaps that's what I want. I'm mostly doing this because I know... Oh! That timing's not great. So this is one potential use of the study verb. Unintentional, but... So I suppose the question would be, who do I want to upgrade? Do I want to put one of these lower level followers... or do I want to have two disciples in a particularly useful... Nice! Alright, I'm safe for now. My adversary has not enough evidence to bring a case against me, and they found no new clues. I feel like it wouldn't hurt to bring a lantern follower up to a higher level. Okay, I'll not complain about another peculiar rumor. I came to the Temple of the Wheel, that high and jagged rock, that memorial to dead gods. Those who take their lives sometimes first cast themselves from its peak in dream. I found another sleeping soul, scratching the sign of the eye into the lichen at its peak. I do not recall what passed between us, but I will recognize their face in the waking world. Okay, more investigations. Another trip to the woods. Although at this point, maybe more trips to the... what am I trying to say? More trips to the White Door might be in order at this point. Well, that's not going to give me much. We're continuing to contemplate on the nature of knock. If we get a case of mistaken identity, we're in good shape, but I think we have a little way to go still. Let's see, we've got Slee, which is the third lantern, Laidlaw is the third forge, Violet's the second winter, Neville's the second knock. Saliba's on his own because Rhaenyra is a rival. We don't have Rose yet, do we? Some days are better than others, sometimes the sky is nothing like a filthy sheet, sometimes the river runs clear. Oh, another season of suspicion coming up, so Worry Detective has their work cut out for them. While I was returning to the depths, one appeared in front of my eyes, whose mouth was sealed. When I saw them in the great emptiness, I cried out. I think that last night I met another soul in the wood. I will never recall exactly what we said one to another, but I think that we will recognize each other in the waking world. So again, generating this much notoriety is not the wisest choice I've ever made, but it does help me get the... acquaintances. And we're not quite as threatened in terms of investigators as we used to be. Oh, I didn't realize we didn't have Sulachana yet. Okay. So let's make use of that, and I think we're going to bring Cat Caro up to a higher level. So, Cat Caro, a bright-eyed, watchful woman who recalls her dreams perfectly. My follower will kneel as a novice and rise as an initiate. I will administer the necessary oaths myself. Alright, so looks like we are out of rumors to follow. So perhaps I was wrong. We've got everyone we need. So we can look for Street Strange by Moonlight again. We'll send Clovette out on the chance that we get some health. Another Season of Suspicion or hang on, I think we were already talking about the Season of Suspicion, so not too worried about that. And we'll do the same trick. Basically, we're gonna spam this until we get a we'll spam this until we get a knock influence, at which point we're gonna try and bring someone into the cult. Now, I do expect the Weary Detective to pick up one of this notoriety. The question is whether or not we have any evidence to destroy after, or evidence to destroy after. Let's take the occult scrap. I walked in the wood last night, and the scissors worked in the distance and furred things crammed in my mouth and swarmed my ears, and I felt the old urge to drop to wolf fours and nose among the roots, but I remembered that I walk upright by day, and I know fire and steel and words. And at last I found where the velvet had concealed a secret on tree bark beneath moss. I read it then with the tips of my fingers, and I think now that I could write it in full. Okay, so we're gonna see how the investigation turns out. I can live with contentment. We do always run the risk of getting fascination as a result of this, but I can live with that risk. To she who is flesh I offer my wounds, to she who is stone I offer this moment, where the old self divides from the new. To she who came from light I offer my secrets, the door is opened. So in this case, there's a few things that I could do, right? I could try and get rid of the reputation, but at this point it makes the most sense to just try and bring the remaining people into the cult. So I don't even really have preferred ordering at this point. So Craigsley, the astronomer and avant-garde poet, has developed an interest in the esoteric as his health wanes. I figured this is a good thing to do while we wait for the outcome of the evidence. I know we're at the end of the time, but I figure... Actually, it just occurred to me that the evidence won't come until after the ceremony. And a glimmering, so we'll do another one of those. Slee speaks earnestly of his theories to all who will listen, the stars as tiny wounds, and the sun as a hemorrhage of glory. His poetry is more eccentric than ever. So I think I'll leave it there. We'll find out in 15 seconds, or 13 seconds, whether or not I have anything to worry about. But overall, I'm pretty happy with where the playthrough is. So we've gotten through three expeditions: Strathcoins, Cater and Hero, and St. Agnes Hospital. We could have more as far as followers are concerned, like just in terms of skill, and we're working on that by exploring Street Strange by Moonlight. The nice thing, though, is that we have a disciple for Heart and we have a disciple for Moth, which means we have access to sort of reputation management and evidence control. So those are the two big things that I sort of need to make sure that I can keep doing this for a longer period of time. And the reason I need to do this for a longer period of time is I'm imposing this librarian restriction on myself. So as you can see, we don't have a lot to go with in terms of lore, and we can't combine Nock and Secret Histories to turn into a higher level Nock. So I do need to rely a little bit on flexibility and time to be able to accomplish certain things. But I'm actually feeling reasonably good about the strategy I have in mind. There will be a couple of points where I think some people have some questions in terms of how I'm going to pull this off, and I think within the next couple of weeks we should be seeing where, I don't know if it's all that clever, but where I think I have a way of navigating all of this. But of course, we're going to save that for future episodes. There should be one more for this week, but for tonight, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.